What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are getting the old fuel pump out of the tank here on the Flame, the purple, the 92 S10. And I just wanted to show you something real quick here. So on the S10, this truck, and the old K5, this is kind of the similar setup. I mean, the fuel tank and the K5's in the back in the center here. It's right behind the driver door. So you can see these tabs here. There's one over here, and there's one, I'm sure, under here somewhere. And I already started loosening this, but you can see this other little tiny tab sticking up right here. This is against this when it's all the way tight. So to loosen it, there's some other little tabs, I'm trying not to block the light here, that you can tap on with a hammer, on a screwdriver. It doesn't take much, it's pretty easy, but you kind of work your way around. So I had to start on this side and then move over here to this one, and then move over, there's one under here, and kind of have your work way around. You get a lot of kind of just road crud built up around here. So I went around with a screwdriver and a small pick and just kind of scratched around all the edges and just used a little hand broom and swept it off. If you have a shop vac, I'm sure that's probably a better thing to use, but I was too lazy to get mine out of the other garage, so a little hand broom it was. So I am almost all the way pulled out with this. You can see like the shape of this tab here, and then right in here, there's a nice open groove. So once you get this spun all the way around on each side, that'll kind of line up. You should be able to pick it straight up. I haven't disconnected anything on here yet, because I'm not positive if I'm just gonna buy just the pump assembly, or if I'm gonna get the whole hanger assembly that comes with all new lines, a new top. It's kind of all new. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go that far. My fuel gauge isn't working, and I'd be willing to bet it's a bad float in here, but I'm not sure. But we're gonna get this taken out, and we'll see what it looks like on the inside before we make that decision. So I just got back from Advanced Auto Parts, and I have the new pump, and I actually have it back in. And what I did was, before I even put the hoses back on or even put the clamp on, I just primed it and started, or tried to start the truck to see if the pump was pumping, and it is. And unfortunately, but fortunately, it doesn't really matter. Probably could have used a new fuel pump anyway. Who knows how old this one is. I think there was just some crud in that. I started it to let some fuel just pump out, and it didn't pump at first, and I was actually getting pretty nervous that it wasn't gonna work. And I stopped for a minute, and I was trying to check the ground to make sure the ground was still good, because there's so much dirt and stuff built up all around this that I cleaned it up with a screwdriver and some sandpaper and sprayed some brake clean on it. And when I tried to pump it again, all that dark stuff, like all this right here, that came out of the fuel line. So maybe next time, or if you're watching this, before you go buy a fuel pump, maybe just see if you have a bunch of crap in your lines like I did, because that might have been my problem. My fuel pump might have been okay. It's not a huge deal because the fuel pump isn't that expensive for these trucks. I think it's like $24 for it, or maybe $30. So it's not like it's a big loss, but I'm going to show you what you get in it. So, essentially you get all of this stuff here, plus this is what your pump looks like. The new one's already in, like I said, an O-ring that goes in the clamp. I went ahead and changed the O-ring, even though this one feels perfectly fine. It actually is still really soft, and it's not dry rotted or cracking or anything. And I changed the little clips, and I changed these out with just like the hose clamps. I'm gonna save all of this stuff, even the fuel pump, because it might be good. But I didn't use some of the parts. Like, I didn't splice in the new clip. That's still good on mine. The wires looked fine. I wasn't too concerned about a poor connection in there. It even came with a new little piece of hose that comes out of the top and clamps on up high. The only thing, I reused this. Just these kind of three pieces right here. Oops, sorry, right here. So what I really wanted to show you was when you're putting your little ring back on the top, I'm sure there's a tool for this. I do not have one. I use a flathead screwdriver and a hammer. You can see right here and here, and there's one in here that I can't even really see because it's not bright enough in my garage. But you can see how this is started right underneath this little lip. What's important is that you get that started on all three of these before you go nuts trying to spin this around. So you really want to take your time and just tap on this little lip that's sticking up right on the side here. and just slowly work your way around and make sure they're all started. And once they're all started, you just kind of keep working your way around to get it all snugged up. So I'm gonna finish tightening this up, get these couple hoses back on real quick, and we're gonna fire it up, and hopefully it fires right up. And if that's the case, I'll go outside, try to move the bed over out of the way so I can back up the truck and let it idle for a minute, and maybe just, I don't know if I'll do a quick little lap around the block or not, but let's hope it works. All right, we are all put back together. Everything's tightened in, snugged up. Moment of truth. Let's see what happens. Yeah! We are ready to rip! Let's go! Oh yeah. Alright, I better turn that off before I pass out or anything. But it actually sounds like it is idling better than it was before, which makes sense if there was a clogged fuel line. I'm curious if it'll like go a little bit faster. I don't know. But we're gonna find out. We still have a lot of work to do before we really even get this back out on the road. One, it ran out of inspection while this fuel pump was out. But we have a cracked brake line right in this frame rail between the fuel tank and the frame rail. So I have a roll of brake line, so we need to bend that and cut that and flare that to, make it the same as it was, or not the same, but fit in the right spot. And then I think while the bed is off, I'm gonna get a pressure washer and just blast all this clean and maybe try to go ahead and paint the frame while the bed's off. And leave a comment below because I could use some, a vote, I guess, really. I'm debating on painting the whole truck. I want to keep the flames, but just repainting the whole thing purple and redo the flames on it. But should I go ahead and paint it now while the cab is off so I can paint behind, or sorry, not the cab, while the bed is off, so I can go ahead and paint behind the cab and just completely repaint the bed. I don't know, we have a lot of big things coming up. I don't know if I have the time for it, but part of me kind of wants to do it anyway. But that might be it for this episode. I don't know. If it is, thanks for watching. If not, let's go do a burnout. Ooh, bad quality because it is dark, but we have no drippies. It is idling good. Ah. Nothing like a one-wheel peel. Solid. Let's roll her back in and do some brake work. Woo! Some of that rubber smoke came in here. Oh man. When did it? Oh, I can't fit out of here. Jeez. When did it get so foggy outside? I don't know. Ah. Yeah. Huh. It kind of smells funny. Nothing like a one-wheel peel to celebrate a fixed fuel pump. Let's fix those brake lines so we can get this thing back on the road.